camera speeds.
You good?
This camera speeds. I have your slate. Go ahead.
Calling this Lean 4, take 1, soft sticks, roll 1, everybody.
Season 2 of Dialing Home with Christopher Judge. Help me. Help me. I have some surprises for you.
Uh-oh. Oh my god. These are the original...
These are the original concepts for Teal'c.
Wow. Look at that.
Isn't that something?
Wow. Look, the ears. What can you see that? The dangling earlobes. That's you've heard us or me reference the earlobes. That's what they look like. Those dangling earlobes.
Came a long way. The
Wow.
tattoo.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
How long has it been since you've seen these?
Well, 21 years.
Wow.
21 years.
It's a long way. You were talking about like there were certain elements that we just couldn't. You're glad that they didn't deal with because it would have been a pain in the butt every day.
This is my question for a long time on the convention circuit. What this is called? It's called a pastiche. Pastiche. The more you know.
Jeez. Cool. Let's put this here.
I love looking at these. I can see how I got the job. Let's just get the weirdest looking guy we can find.
I have a few more to share with you.
Wow.
You want to see?
Absolutely.
I didn't really prepare myself for picking these up very well.
Oh, is this the original?
That's one of them. They were going with original concepts, some more outrageous than others. But can you imagine if you had to have been inside something like that?
Well, it couldn't have been much worse than what was, because the original helmet that was built, they had only tested it on Ray Douglas's brother, but with guys holding it.
Are we talking about the pneumatic one?
The pneumatic
the ultra heavy one that you could shoot from forward?
80 pounds.
Man.
And it had no neck support. So what people didn't see was me trying to balance this thing and swerving all over the place.
Because they would cut when it would go back. There was a separate one, but the pneumatic one was actually a heavy piece. We sold it.
Very, very heavy.
Wow.
But looking at this, I'm glad we did go with that, because this one, that would have weighed.
Can you imagine? Unless it was like made of something else. So I went through the library of
How do you get all this?
I've hung on to a lot of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's out there. A lot of it before we sold, we digitally scanned or I took aside and made a lot of copies for events like this. Ready to go through memory lane?
Wow. Cor-Ai.
Your trial.
Wow. I remember.
Isn't that something?
I remember rehearsing this, and
it's one of the greatest episodes of the show.
oh, thank you.
Period.
I remember Rick came out into the hall. I was reading lines, and I was very emotional.
Yeah.
And Rick touched me. Rick said, because this was very early on.
Yeah, very season one.
Said, save it for the takes. And I said, well, no, I want to get it out now, because I will be too emotional to use any of it.
Yeah,
it won't be the character.
Yeah.
So I wanted to expend all the emotion that the scene brought up for me. Wow, Cor-Ai.
Isn't that cool? And another great one earlier on. I love this. You're why don't you? Yeah, just hand it back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Thor's hammer.
The Thor's hammer and the
Wow.
chamber with James Earl Jones.
Yes.
With the voice of James Earl Jones.
Yes, as Una. That was one of the great gets of the first season.
Wasn't it terrific?
That was one of the great gets of the first season. And
And
that was because Michael Greenberg had a personal relationship with James, and James actually cut his rate to $15,000 for half an hour. No, it was.
This is a great Jack and
yeah.
Teal'c episode. You know, the Unas is a myth, much like your vampire.
Yes.
It's so good.
The makeup on that, the makeup on the Unas. He
Yeah,
was
the
he was
first time
actually
we had seen an Unas,
yeah.
so it was very
And the actor that they hired
good
had
guy.
played one of the Predators. He played one of the Predators. He was 6'11" and
Holy
strong as hell. So when we had these battle scenes,
Because he pulls him around, Teal'c around like
yeah,
a rag doll.
Yeah, he
And Teal'c's
really
not
was pulling me around like
Yeah.
a rag doll. To where I forgot who directed that one. Maybe was that?
I can't remember.
I can't remember who directed it. But I went. But no, I think Martin Wood was the first AD. I think I went to Martin, and I said, "Can you tell him like this is acting? Like he doesn't really. I can fake like it's you know
Yeah.
like because he was really
Yeah.
he was the kid was strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's terrific. That's insane. We talked about you having issues with the staff weapon. Now you get an Uber staff weapon, so they take it from a glider.
Yes. I remember when I first saw this.
What a great prop.
Yeah, but see, I loved it because I knew it would be limited in its use because it was so big. So it was cool just to have every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not like the staff, which was
you
going to
had
be
it
carried around all the
in
time.
that one and when you blew up Tanith.
Yes,
He was
yes.
just randomly carrying it on that planet. It was like, hey, you know, it's a great prop. So, the artistry of these guys. These are Ken Rebel's early ones. Just great work. You and I have talked about this scene just a little bit.
Oh yeah, message in a bottle.
Tremendous sequence. I love that moment between Jack and Teal'c, the warriors. You know, the domesticated equines.
Yes.
Cannot take me away.
Yes.
You told a joke, Teal'c. You're a good man. You know, Teal'c says back to him, "As are you, my friend."
I remember I was expecting Rick to be really surly because they had him in this harness. And so he was actually suspended there for a great part of the day. And I really expected him to not be in a good mood after a while, but he was in a really, it was like he enjoyed it. It was, I don't know where I'm going with that, but
He enjoyed the process.
He enjoyed
of
the process of it, and he enjoyed. You know, he's so. I guess when you're iconic, which you know, let's face it, he was.
Yeah,
Being
absolutely.
MacGyver, your acting chops kind of take a back seat to who you were as this character. And Rick's chops were second to none. When he wanted to bring it,
He absolutely
that cat
did.
could really bring it.
Yeah.
And this is one of the times where I was just really kind of blown away by his performance. Was in that.
Wow, that's great. I'm sorry I had to bring this up. What cool imagery. Have you seen all of these?
I haven't seen any. See, now if I had seen this beforehand, maybe I wouldn't be so willing to go, yeah, I can lay in one position for 6 hours at a time.
It's a shame. It's such beautiful artwork from such an important part of your life, and you never knew that it was. I mean, I'm assuming you assumed it was there, but yeah, this was so cool because it's just like I loved, especially later on with the props that they did. They could make an image of a prop or something like that on paper, and the props department
Could
physically
recreate
created
it,
it down to the minute detail.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
extraordinary.
It was crazy. It was crazy. That this episode it was probably couldn't have been done later in the series because there's no way I would have agreed to it.
Yeah.
This was still in the days where I thought I could get fired. So and it literally was.
Couldn't go to the bathroom.
I had to lay in the same position from the start of the day to lunch. I would come out of it at lunch and then be put back into it for the rest of the day, which would be another 6-7 hours. And holy crap, was that uncomfortable.
one of the great moments of Dawn that you have not and I have not discussed.
Oh, the yeehaw moment.
Yeehaw.
I remember Donnie asking about this. He said, now, in a great deliberate way, well, he was probably a pilot, an ex-pilot. So
Yeah.
this would harken back to some of his exciting days. And I think General Hammond would be very excited to be flying this. And so I'm just going to kind of go through the emotional rage. And
Yeehaw was not in the script.
No.
That's fantastic.
So that's why that look that they cut
it
to.
cuts to you.
It was real.
Oh.
Because I didn't know he was doing it either.
Oh, that's authentic.
Oh, man, yeah, that was such a great moment. And because so often I didn't have very many scenes with Don, just one-on-one. And we had such a fabulous relationship. We was we were friends, but also he was like a father figure to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and,
it's like a dad.
I remember doing this just because it was one of the few times that on set that I got to just hang out with Donnie one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and it's one of the great scenes for Hammond and him. So just a terrific moment. Similarly in that vein, and I just rewatched this one. There are a few episodes that, you know what, if I want to go and just kill 44 minutes, I'll put on certain ones. Tangent is one of those. This is the design for the X301.
Wow.
And it's another great beat between you and Rick. Where Rick's like, who? If you go to sleep, who will I have to talk to?
Right.
There's little to say. We are brothers. What can I possibly say after that? Back at you. Tell us about that.
This was kind of the beginning
Yeah.
of when they really started exploiting the Teal'c O'Neill relationship.
This is season 4.
Yeah. Through the first 3 seasons, I mean, there were definitely some Teal'c and O'Neill adventures, but this is when they really started paying more attention to it on a regular basis.
These two would have been
relationship.
close.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Jack brought him to this planet, for crying out loud. For this, you can stay at my place.
Right.
And that's embodied in that scene. It's a great acting all around. I'm assuming it was more of it may not have been a cost-saving episode, to have you guys squared away in there.
I'm sure it was. But I can remember also with Rick and I in a confined space, they would have to come put the hatch on.
Yeah.
So when they had to take the hatch off, we'd be in there farting for the entire time. So when they would take the hatch off,
Oh, God. Christopher. So this is...
I went 6 minutes without talking about farting.
He did. Kudos to you. This is another example, one that includes Teal'c, but one of just the masterful world building that at this point Richard Houdolan was involved with. Absolutely exceptionally cool.
Wow.
Broca Divide. And Teal'c going to the rescue. All the humans, you can't count on the humans in this episode. Teal'c has got to get things squared away.
What I remember about Broca Divide, there was, I don't know if Rick had looked at the concept makeup first, because, everything had to kind of go through the whole process to be approved, and Rick was very unhappy with the
Cro-Magnon makeup.
Yes,
for him.
yes. It did look. It really kind of didn't look that bad on everyone else, but for some reason it looked very odd on him.
Yeah.
So we were just doing nothing for like an
Working
hour and a half,
while they
2
worked on it.
hours while
Yeah.
they came up with a different prosthetic on the spot, and as usual, I mean, Rick was right.
He
was
knew
right.
what he
Yeah.
knew was the right way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes we would have to go by.
I'm
this is
assuming
very
you're
early
walking
on.
towards a green screen for this.
Yes.
Because there's a couple of different shots of you doing this.
We would have to
Yeah.
go by the director's description of what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So we got caught the first time. I think it was Thor's hammer. It was one of DeLuise's early episodes, and DeLuise said, "The ship's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge." And so we're thinking, okay, huge ship. We see a cut of it, and the ship is massive.
It's as big as the valley, the entire sky.
And so our reactions are kind of like,
He's trying to tell
like
you.
never again. You have to show us the concept
Yeah.
art from now on. And that was kind of the only time when we started believing when they said huge, that it's gonna be huge. Yeah.
And it's a great sequence. You
Yeah.
know, it's our first real sign that there are potentially some powerful allies out there.
Right.
So terrific. And the last one that I have here, when James C.D. Robbins joined in season 6. So Anubis's planet, and you and Braytak and Ryak going under cover of darkness. Although I think Ryak wasn't supposed to. You told him to stay back. Man, it's another example of they could make anything.
Anything. Well, I remember when Hudolin left, and there was some trepidation on who can replace Hudolin. I mean,
Yeah,
this dude's
I know.
a genius. And man, did our fears go away quick, that there's another genius. I mean, James was...
And Ken Rebel was the artist,
yeah.
but before.
We didn't miss a beat, which
No.
we were so incredibly lucky to get James, and he's a pretty good golfer too.
Oh, yes.
Because on Stargate, that's how we judge people's worth. But yeah, we really didn't miss a beat. With we loved Hudolin, but
And
having
Rebel.
the
artist.
yes, and but having James come aboard was a godsend.
That's great. These are yours.
What?
You get to keep them.
No, you're kidding.
Yeah, I made them for you.
Holy shit!
Here you go, sir.
Awesome,
Oh, you might like them.
awesome. That's fantastic. Thank you, my friend.
You're very
Appreciate you.
I thought you might want to have them.
Hell yeah.